Welcome to Schmitt Tonight special series tonight. During his presidency, Barack Obama warned about the dangers of dark money in American politics. Today, his radicalized party could not function and would come nowhere near winning anything without that dark money. Over the last several weeks, we've seen rage over Israel's invasion of Gaza. We've seen that swell into nationwide chaotic protests. We're seeing one right now happening at the Met Gala. The usual suspects, young radical leftists descending on major cities and college campuses, spewing Marxism. This time it came in the form of anti-Zionism, a fury very similar to anti-white or anti-capitalism. This time the Jews are the target, but it's standard cultural Marxism, fury at any people, any culture, any race, with the audacity to prosper and live better than others. Here's how the fight against Zionism has looked in this country.
It's about every day, every day.
Be glad, be grateful that I'm not just going out and murdering Zionists.
Crazy how this has just turned into such a huge thing in this country so fast. And it looks just like the fight to preserve, late-term abortion, just like defund the police or any manic climate change movement you've ever seen. This is the standard issue left in this country. And there's a reason that they all kind of look the same and why they all seem to be the same kind of people. Because it's all funded by the same dirty, radically left dark money. The big players in the left-wing assault against this free country are mostly familiar faces. Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, who spent $400 million securing only Democrat votes in 2020. George Soros, who's openly on a mission to destroy Trump and destroy American freedom. The Rockefellers, LinkedIn founder Reid Hoffman, the bank who bankrolled the ridiculous E. Jean Carroll rape allegation against Trump. The hotel magnate Pritzker family, spoiled child JB, is currently running Illinois into the ground. Some of these people made their own money. Others were born into extreme wealth, but they all share one thing: the guilt and self-loathing that comes from being that wealthy. It's left them with one catharsis: to destroy the system that allowed them to have all that wealth by using their money to push cultural Marxism so that they can sleep at night. Something that, ironically, will only destroy the quality of life of pretty much everyone in this country except themselves. The great irony of it all. This dark money not only fuels the radical pro-Hamas protests that we're seeing right now, it funds the entire Democrat apparatus, which is why it was a tough question for Biden advisor Mitch Landrieu yesterday on CNN.
Should they stop funding these groups? Are they causing unrest for the American people?
Well, let me say this. I think that everybody, as the president has said, needs to kind of get focused in on the very core principles of what our Constitution allows and what our Constitution protects. And that is this: everybody has a right to protest, but they have to protest peacefully. If they're protesting violently, that has to end. There's no place for that. There's no place for anti-Semitism. There's no place for Islamophobia.
Mm-hmm. Pretty generic courtesy response: condemn anti-Semitism, feign concern for Jewish students. In reality, he and the rest of his party are acutely aware that radical left, dark and devious money is their only shot at keeping power. That's why they have power right now. From Politico, pro-Palestinian protests are backed by a surprising source: Biden's biggest donors. Does that really surprise anyone? Does it surprise you? What's a little more surprising is the major anti-Israel groups funding them are using the money of Jewish billionaire George Soros to do it, the Bond villain who's funding much of our society's demise. Once a young Jewish boy in Hungary who concealed his heritage and helped confiscate the property of other Jews during the Second World War, the bizarre hypocrisy of George Soros' youth would follow him for the rest of his life. On 60 Minutes, Soros, the once brutal capitalist, explained why it was so easy to exploit the wealth of other countries, destroying their economies in the process.
In the last 2 years, you've been blamed for financial collapse of Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Japan, and Russia.
Yeah, all of the above.
I am basically there to make money. I cannot and do not look at the social consequences of what I do.
Yeah. Well, now he's destroying our own society to appease his own guilt, and he is not alone. The Democrat Party is now almost entirely controlled by a handful of super wealthy individuals who are buying control of the United States. Ironically, the party that claims it's here to save democracy is the furthest thing from democratic. A new book called Arabella lays out the scheme. Mass amounts of billionaire wealth dumped into umbrella organizations like Arabella, which is a DC consulting firm, which then funnels that money to different subsidiaries. In Arabella's case, it's these 5 behind me. The money is then filtered to different left-wing causes, whether they be climate, defunding police, abortion, anti-Israel, whatever it is. This is why they all look and they all sound the same. This is why in a center-right, freedom-loving country, we always have so much radical left unrest that the media just seizes on. They love it. There's very few people that actually believe this nonsense, but they have all the power. None of this is organic. It's all manufactured by a handful of guilt-ridden billionaires who've lost total touch with any kind of reality. Take a listen to this stat. In the 2020 election cycle, Arabella's nonprofits took in $2.4 billion, more than the fundraising of the Democrat and Republican National Committees combined. In the 2022 election cycle, remember after we lost Roe versus Wade, they got rid of Roe versus Wade, Arabella's fundraising rose to $3 billion. And now you have Trump back in the picture, and you wonder, what will the fundraising for this radical left chaos be here in 2024? And just how chaotic will this election be?